The first of the three powers attributed to the philosopher's stone is that of providing an elixir of long life, capable of conferring immortality and healing all illnesses. The other two powers are those of omniscience and the ability to transform base metals into gold. The quest for immortality and the transformation into gold were seen as the culmination of a spiritual path of purification. So the alchemist had to be of high moral stature and not act out of greed. The alchemical doctrines that began with the Arabs spread into the Christian Middle Ages, during which the philosopher's stone was likened to Christ, who, with his coming in the world, transmuted matter through his death and resurrection. Throughout the centuries, numerous were the attempts by alchemists to find the elixir of life, or to transmute base metals into gold, and numerous were the tales and sagas that multiplied to the present day. Let us just recall the Harry Potter saga. The first episode is entitled The Philosopher's Stone, and the famous novel The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, which we will return to later. In today's Gospel, we find the alchemical idea of transformation several times. The hour has come from the Son of Man to be glorified, i.e., the passage from the human condition to divine glory. If the grain of wheat fallen into the earth does not die, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. The path from death to life. He who loves his life loses it, and who hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life. The passage from mortality to immortality. This is why in the Middle Ages Jesus was seen as the philosopher's stone or philosophical egg, as they proposed immortality. He who believes in me, even though he dies, shall live. The recipe Jesus proposes, however, does not consist in magic potions, but in service. If anyone wishes to serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall he also be my servant. If anyone serves me, the Father will honor him. To serve is to dispossess oneself of one's life in order to generate eternal life. Just like the grain of wheat that dies to produce much fruit. Whoever loves his life loses it, and whoever hates his life in this world will keep it for eternal life. The Greeks who approached the Temple of Jerusalem were in search of their philosopher's stone. They are symbolic of the man of all times who is in search of the philosopher's stone, i.e., immortal life, eternal youth, the elixir of love, the path that leads from the material to the spiritual, mutation of metal into gold. Those Greeks came to understand that the philosopher's stone could not be a place, Jerusalem, nor a thing, the golden temple, but could only be someone, which is why they wanted to see Jesus. They had guessed from the little they knew about him that the only important thing for them was to know Jesus. That is why they turned to those who had seen Jesus well. In conclusion, the approaching Holy Week was regarded in the Middle Ages as the week of weeks of the alchemists, because the philosophical egg, another way of conceiving the philosopher's stone that reminds us of the symbol of the Easter egg, was reaching its great backing. But we do not need two alchemists, elixirs, to attain our philosopher's stone. These are just fake potions, like the elixir that Dulcamara sold to Nemorino to win Adina's love. An elixir that in reality had no magical properties, but was just red wine, as Gaetano Donizetti tells us in his opera buffa L'Elixir d'Amore. Nor do we need to embark on arduous paths in the desert, like the one taken to the pyramids of Egypt by the shepherd Santiago, the protagonist of the novel The Alchemist by the Brazilian Paulo Coelho. I had read the book in the early 1990s because it was very fashionable at the time. It was translated into 56 languages and sold over 100 million copies in more than 150 countries. However, I remember being disappointed when I read it, because it told me absolutely nothing new. This is the fate to which we Christians are condemned, that after having seen Jesus, everything else often seems insignificant, if not downright trivial. To those 100 million readers who have read The Alchemist, I would like to ask, but have you never read the Gospel? It is not in following the alchemists that we will find our philosopher's stone, but in doing what the Greek did, wanting to see Jesus.